How do you want to do this? Like, do we want to like intro, like, you want to do like some kind of intro thing, like we're getting ready for this season finale or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
So we're back. The duo's back in town. I'm also in the middle of poisoning my body, so.
In the middle of what?
Poisoning my body.
Oh, yeah.
We're eagerly awaiting the final of Loki. And I say eagerly as if I'm hanging on by a thread. I just watched the new episode this morning. I'm sorry to report, but it was really good. I regret not watching it when it came out. Leaves you on a great cliffhanger. I have many questions. The internet has many questions. Coworker Max Barr has many questions.
Yeah, and you can edit this to make me look as dumb as you want. Like, I don't care.
I would never
This
do
would be
that
fun.
to you. And Max, you are a Marvel fan, but perhaps passively?
Great to be back with you on the channel, Destiny. Yes, I am a Marvel fan. I've seen almost every movie and show, I guess with the exception of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I skipped that one. I'm feeling pretty dumb right now. I feel like I don't know a lot of what's going on in Loki. I feel like I just don't get it. And so I came to you for help. I told you a few days ago I have a bunch of dumb questions. Maybe you can answer them for me.
I'm going to try really hard. But to your credit, my best friend was just talking to me about Loki today, and she was like, I have no clue what's going on. She's like, it's very funny to me to watch the show, and I'm just like vibing, and then I go on the internet, and everybody has like explanations for everything. And I would love to say that I'm like one of those comic people that just knows things. I'm not. I just spend a lot of time on wikis. So hit me with your best shot, Max. Maybe we can be done together.
Yeah, maybe. And just to give you an idea of the mind you're dealing with, I only just a few days ago realized that the title WandaVision was a play on words, like television. So that's what you're dealing with here.
It took me into my 20s to understand that the commercial "Every Kiss Begins with K" for K Jewelry was a double entendre. So
we're like two peas in a pod.
We may not be working with a full box of crayons here, but we can try.
Okay. All right. First question. If there is only one sacred timeline, how are there so many Lokis? Who are these people?
Well,
where do they exist? Does this have something to do with the multiverse?
I think it probably does. So you're caught up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So like in the last episode, Ravonna Renslayer, the TVA agent, she's talking about how because people aren't killed and the timeline isn't actually cut off, there are just infinite timelines. So what is happening here, it sounds like, is the person behind the TVA, and I have a theory on that, so does the rest of the internet.
We'll get to that, yeah.
Yeah. Is just trying to keep one while others still exist, but if anything too major happens in the other timelines, it threatens, I think, the power of the sacred timeline, right? Just like Sylvie was talking about in the last episode, like there may be a timeline for you to rule because they all still exist. It's just like, I think that person who created the TVA is trying to keep too much power from accumulating anywhere.
Okay, that makes sense. I think I understand that.
I feel like I'm taking the SATs.
Did Alligator Loki come from a universe of alligators? Was the Alligator Loki just hanging out with Anthony Hopkins? Yes?
There's factual evidence of that, which I will place somewhere on the screen right now.
Okay. I look forward to seeing that.
I don't know. I would love to think that Alligator Loki tried to overthrow Alligator Odin, and that's why he ended up at the end of space and time. I love Alligator Loki. I feel like I'm finally transforming into my God-given right as a Florida woman to just own a lot of alligators and put Loki helmets on them. I'll let you know how that works out.
It's just weird. Like, I'm just trying, like, where did this alligator come from? How does it communicate with everyone if they're not alligators?
Well, you know,
it just left me confused.
Loki in the comics does have an affinity for a little bit of mind power reading. Maybe he can read his own mind. He's trying to bone himself, so it doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility. Anything can happen, Max.
Yeah, and that goes to another one of my questions. So that moment when Loki and what's her name? Sylvie. That moment when they're thinking they're gonna die on the planet, when the moon's about to crash into them, and they have this very intimate moment looking into each other's eyes, is actually pretty captivating. But it seems like it's two Lokis falling in love with each other. So why did that create such a crazy branch on the timeline?
I don't think you're supposed to.
Because that happens when there's a variant, right? That just a big branch just comes out of nowhere and they stop them.
So it's not
TVA stops them.
It's not that there's a variant. It's that something has happened that wasn't supposed to happen. So like when you hear that little boy Loki say that he killed Thor, he wasn't supposed to do that. So I'm not sure if like all of these Lokis, like Loki says in the last episode that aired to Sylvie, like, this is us as a child, this is us in the future. So I think that those, like, the kid Loki that killed Thor was taken out, the timeline was reset, and kid Loki continued to age into the Loki that we know. And because two Lokis came to exist in the sacred timeline, the one with the cube was pruned, and so right. Loki will continue to go on until we see him die by Thanos. But if he had made a different decision, he would have become the old man Loki, who was pruned later on. So I think that it becomes a problem. Like, what would happen if they had like, that's just not allowed to happen. You're not allowed to like fall in love with yourself.
I don't know what's possible and what's impossible in this multiverse world.
Literally
whatever.
Anything. What's that guy's name? Who runs everything? Anything Kevin Feige wants.
Right. Yeah. So that's who created the TVA, right? Kevin Feige.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the people working for the TVA, those people are variants. Allegedly.
According to Sylvie and Loki.
Right.
But, like, there's no outside proof of that to this point. I'm inclined...
Do you think we're going to find out who brainwashed them, if that's the truth? Or is that going to be revealed in the final episode, do you think?
I don't know. I think that there's the chance for that kind of stuff to be answered, but also we're getting so many movies that have to deal with the multiverse timeline. So we're getting Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the Spider-Man movie, and also Ant-Man and Quantumania. So there are a lot of chances for a lot of the stuff in this series to not be answered and to be answered in those movies instead, which would be frustrating, but also very Marvel of them, right? Because there's a chance that, you know, we see that very intense scene in the last episode where they're cuddling under the tablecloth and Sylvie's talking to Loki, like, how do I know that you're not going to betray me? And he's like, I've betrayed everybody I've ever loved. Could be a little bit of foreshadowing for the betrayal of Loki by Sylvie. I mean, I'd like to think that she's cool, but it would be very Loki of her to betray him. And so she could be lying to these TVA agents as well because she wants to get rid of the TVA. So she could have theoretically been lying about her ability to manipulate people's memories because she was so powerful she took down Elias, who was, according to the comics, was the first being to ever break out of the sacred timeline. And he just becomes this powerful cloud monster thing. So there's a chance.
Okay, so you're talking about the big purple monster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a chance that she's way more powerful than we think, and she could just be trying to get to her own means, or it could be like the rest of the internet thinks, Kang the Conqueror. So.
Yeah, and who's Kang the Conqueror?
An alien guy. It's complicated because all comics are complicated, and this one also has time travel in it. So but basically, he was not born to the Earth where everything is happening. He was born. So this is Earth 616, where we're seeing all this Marvel stuff happening. He was born.
That's like area code.
Yeah,
616.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And a different represent the 616. Thank you. He was born on a different Earth. His name is Nathaniel Richards, and he's somehow both a descendant of Reed Richards and Sue Storm, but also somehow related to Doctor Doom. Don't ask questions, it's fine. And he wants to be the ruler of the universe. And so he has the ability to travel through time and space, and he wants to conquer all of the universe. And he does that sometimes, he's had very many storylines, sometimes by pairing up with Doctor Doom, which would be interesting and would tie the Wanda story into this very well, because we last see Wanda in that cabin outside of that mountain in a very famous Wanda comic. She goes into Wundagore Mountain and Doctor Doom brainwashes her, and she is engaged to him. And then Billy, Tommy, and the Young Avengers come and rescue her. So
wow.
It's possible that they could be going for that. They may just make Kang the Conqueror the main bad guy. But, people were theorizing that it was Kang the Conqueror, but the existence of the, Goliath tells us that it's Kang the Conqueror in the comics. That's the monster that protects Kang the Conqueror's, domain. And also, Ravonna Renslayer, she's his love interest, and she, in the comics, and she is like an Earth princess in the comics, and he wants to marry her, and she ends up sacrificing herself for him to save his life, and then he keeps her in a weird thing, stasis, so she doesn't die, because that's what bad guys do.
You're talking about the judge, right? The judge, TVA agent. Okay.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So
got it.
In the comics, a woman named Ravonna Renslayer is his love interest, but who knows if this isn't a variant of the original Ravonna Renslayer, whatever. She it kind of left it on a cliffhanger whether or not she knows what's going on. In one storyline, she takes over after Kang the Conqueror is killed. So maybe she's the mastermind. I don't think she is, but it could be. It's just the thing about the MCU, as you know, it just takes whatever it wants and does whatever it wants with information that exists, because comics are written by 50 different people over 10 years. It's everything's
I just get so overwhelmed with all these fan theories. I don't even dip my toe in that water. But whenever I hear Kang the Conqueror, I always go back to my my Ninja Turtle fandom, and I think of Krang.
The guy with the brain in his stomach?
Well, Krang is the brain, and then he, at one point, he gets a body to just bring him around where he controls the body. So that was pretty cool.
Good for Krang.
When I was a kid, yeah. So, but yeah, I've heard they've cast an actor to play Kang the Conqueror. So it seems like that makes sense. It seems like that's what we're going to see in the final episode. But I have no expectations. I barely have any understanding of what I'm watching.
Yeah, John, did you watch Lovecraft Country? That was a big...
No.
I didn't either, but there's an actor from that show, Jonathan Majors, they cast him, and he's been on set of the new Ant-Man movie. So we will...
He's been photographed on set?
Allegedly, yes.
Wow.
I haven't seen
so
it,
maybe he's even in the movie. Wow.
Yeah, I think so. But then that begs the question of all the superheroes that are left, Ant-Man is gonna fight Kang the Conqueror?
We get more Paul Rudd.
I mean, I guess.
Hmm.
But it's like you have this movie with Wanda and Doctor Strange, like two very powerful Avenger adjacent people, and they're like, nah, let's get the tiny guy.
Is that one come out? Does that movie come out first?
No, I believe I think Doctor Strange, then Spider-Man, or Spider-Man, then Doctor Strange. But the Ant-Man is the fourth one, or the last one.
All right, well, this has been really informative. I only have one more question. And that is, did Matt Damon just pretend to be Loki in Thor Ragnarok, or was he actually another Loki?
Wow. I think you're onto something, Max. I think you're.
Well, I'm either onto something or I'm on something.
I think you're galaxy braining all of these fan theories, and this is it. This is the new fan theory. It's Matt Damon. Matt Damon created the TVA.
Maybe.
He's the.
I mean, I googled like. I actually googled dumbest Loki questions, and that one came up somewhere. So that was.
Is that dumb or is it galaxy brain?
I don't know, but I like to think that maybe there was more to his role in that play that they were doing, which was really funny, I thought.
I also thought it was funny. I think it would be funny if he showed up. I think that would be hilarious. He's not going to. But like they had Chris Hemsworth voice Frog Thor that you saw very briefly in the jar when they were in the bunker. It was like showing you the layers of dirt. There's and that scream, I guess, is Chris Hemsworth voicing Frog Thor.
Oh, that's funny.
You know, more cameos to come. Like Don Cheadle showed up in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Who knows? I don't know. But that movie, The Eternals, that's coming out, has something to do with this too. An Eternal fights the TVA. The TVA also at one point tries to kill Wanda. So it's like there are little pieces all around this. But who knows?
Okay, real quick, last bonus question. Where is the TVA in like relation to Earth? Like where am I supposed to believe that is? Looks like it could be like in the Earth's core. Looks like it could be just some other crazy planet. Like where are they?
So it's not like I don't think it's a physical space because it's the end of time. So
that's the end of time also? Because I know that the void, when they prune someone, they go to the end of time, right?
Yeah, so that's where they are when they're in the last episode and they're all pruned. That's like, according to Ravonna Renslayer, that's the end of time and it's still being written by the TVA. So it just, I think in the comics it's just called a temporal space. It's not even given like a physical space. It's called his temporal empire or something like that. So I don't think it exists physically. I wouldn't bend your brain about that, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm not. All right, well, thank you so much. Great to be back here on the channel. I still haven't seen Fast and Furious 9.
That was going to be my question for you. What about Hobbs and Shaw?
I saw that.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I saw that on HBO Max. Not the best.
Really?
It was fun. You know, I saw it once, haven't seen it again.
Okay.
So I'm still waiting for the home viewing opportunity for Fast and Furious 9. I'm gonna enjoy that.
Well, if you have Disney Plus, I saw this yesterday, and I almost texted you about it, but it was late. Michelle Rodriguez, right, who's in the Fast and Furious films, she has some like reality show about driving fast cars.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
It
cool.
Could be up your alley.
It tied me over a little bit.
There you go.
Yeah.
Of your pristine viewing content. Thank you for being here, Max. I do appreciate it. This may be
great to be with you.
Max's last.
And thanks for answering my dumb questions.
Anytime. This may be Max's last appearance on the channel, but I do appreciate your
time.
Maybe not.
All right. All right. See ya.
Goodbye.